So of course I watched the state of play for Borderlands 4, and let's be honest, it was pretty epic. A lot of stuff to take in, and I can't wait to talk about all the things that were showcased to us. I want to try to get into specifics, so I'm going to try to do this over the course of a few videos, but I want to talk about one thing today, and something that immediately impressed me was the overhaul to the game's weapon system. We know that parts for weapons used to matter when min-maxing in Borderlands and Borderlands 2, especially when you were farming for specific parts on legendary weapons to increase their effectiveness. You know, trying to get certain parts to increase things like fire rate, damage or reload speed really mattered. So when I saw in the state of play that Gearbox had actually introduced a significant overhaul to its weapon system through the new licensed parts mechanic, I was like, come on, this is great, this is good stuff, let's see how it works. And basically what this is, it's a system that allows guns to incorporate components from multiple manufacturers. This will result in hybrid weapons that combine diverse functionalities. Let me give you an example. So let's say a Vladov rifle might feature a Torg magazine and a Molo-on switch. This will then make it so that it can shoot rapidly and cause explosive elemental damage simultaneously. So we know that these hybrid weapons are generated procedurally and are tied to the game's loot drops. This obviously means we can't manually customize or swap out individual parts, but you know, the variety and complexity of a weapon increases with its rarity. So if you are going to get a legendary weapon, this will result in additional features like alternate fire modes or an underbarrel attachment, or maybe even some elemental effects, which will enhance the gameplay experience. And for the fact that we actually heard them listen to us, the fans who love Borderlands, was actually amazing, because of course, watching the state of play, when you heard this...
Finally, we've heard your feedback, and we've overhauled our drop rates and loot across the game. We've worked hard to make sure all our gear feels better than ever, while also making rarity matter again. This makes for our most satisfying loot chase ever. And at the top of everything are legendaries. These have always had unique effects that you won't find on any other piece of gear. But in Borderlands 3, they drop too often. This not only devalued legendaries, it made everything feel less valuable. In our new system, not only do all guns feel great, but now legendaries will truly be special events.
This was honestly music to my ears, because I was a big advocate and someone who spoke up about the fact that legendary loot was very frequent and a bit too frequent for my liking, just personally, but that is shared by many other players as well. And I'm glad they're changing it. I'll be honest, I am glad. Let me know your thoughts as well in the comment section. You don't have to agree with me, but I really think this system is going to be a lot better. And I know some people might be upset that we can't directly customize the weapons and the parts. However, the licensed parts system will actually enhance the variety and the uniqueness of weapons players can actually discover. So obviously we know that Borderlands, the franchise's hallmark, is all about unpredictable loot. So it's bringing back that exciting factor of loot drops, which was missing in Borderlands 3. That is something I am really happy about. This is something that we've needed for a while. Borderlands 3, like I said, really did just, it just felt like you were getting legendaries. They didn't mean anything. This is going to give meaning, trust me. This will help a lot. This system is massive. It's my biggest take from the state of play. Moving on to the new weapon manufacturers. So first up we have the Order, which focuses more on the precision and coordination, and it rewards, you know, accuracy and timing. So the cool feature about the Order weapons is that they charge up actually to deliver powerful critical hits, or even apply stacking buffs if you consistently hit weak points. And to be honest, in terms of how they look and the style, it's very sleek in design and kind of has a high-tech design. Now the Ripper weapons look chaotic. Even in the style, how they look, very post-apocalyptic, very savage looking. They focus on brutal melee integration and aggression. It's going to be really interesting to see what kind of legendaries we get with the different effects and how we can implement those into builds, especially with the different Vault Hunters too. Lastly, we come to the third manufacturer, which is Daedalus. These focus on high-tech utility and versatility. So as I said, the focus is on utility, so modules like drones, shields or deployables are built into the weapons themselves. Some of the special features for these types of weapons are guns that may auto-repair, grant buffs like overshields for example, or even deploy gadgets, you know, drone turrets. Their design is quite futuristic as you can see there, and it seems like a very experimental design. But of course we've got some favourites returning like Vladov, Malo-on, Jacobs and Torg. But the fact that we have this licensed parts system now is really cool, because of course with the hybrid weapons we can get features from multiple brands. hybrid synergy. Let's take Order manufacturer, yeah, which of course has features that would greatly complement the Jacobs manufacturer as well. So it's just the synergy, the builds, it's gonna be a lot, you know. There's gonna be so much variety, and that's what we want. We want people to sort of go through combinations and try to see which ones work best with which Vault Hunters, and it's just I'm really taking my hat off to Gearbox. This system I think is gonna be revolutionary. Don't think you quite understand or comprehend the fact that obviously we know it's all procedurally generated, so the fact that they can mix and match traits now from multiple brands, that's going to create thousands upon thousands of unique and complex hybrids. I'm going to actually quickly dive into the enhancements, of course, because these do coincide and they are going to play a big role, of course, when talking about weapons and of course the new weapon system. So the way to look at enhancements is basically that they're the new progression and bonus mechanic. So we know that they're replacing the traditional artifacts, which to be honest I think is great news because of how they actually work. They will provide passive bonuses or abilities basically based on the manufacturers used in your currently equipped weapons. Obviously, unlike weapons, enhancements are not guns or gear themselves. Obviously, think of them like, I don't know, say perks that activate based on your loadout's weapon parts. So specifically, how do they work? So each enhancement is tied to one or more manufacturer. If a weapon includes a licensed part from a matching manufacturer, the enhancement activates or scales up. These bonuses can actually stack or synergize if multiple weapons share compatible parts, which is just good news. It's just good news. Some examples for some of the manufacturers would be, say, Jacobs, so critical hits ricochet, an additional time, which increase critical hit damage. Another example would be for the Ripper manufacturer, so weapons with the Ripper licensed parts increase weapon damage by 2% for each consecutive shot fired for a max of 25 stacks. These are just some examples of some of the enhancement effects. But anyway, I will be making more videos talking about other specific things too, but hopefully you enjoyed this one, and if you did, please consider subscribing and of course leave a like because it helps me out, and also, you know, talk in the comment section amongst yourselves, and also I'll reply back to you guys as well. So if you've got any questions or you just want to put a point across, please do. And thank you for watching as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.